And so, welcome everyone. Welcome once again to our Open Innovation Thursdays. We are very happily connecting once again to our weekly bite-sized conversation about open innovation. My name is Marisol Menendez. I'm an open innovation enthusiast. I dedicate my life to open innovation and ecosystem orchestration, both in my company Vilacatu and my female leaders ecosystem called WITH. And for me, it's a joy to talk about open innovation. We are reviewing week by week each of the chapters of this book, the Oxford Handbook of Open Innovation, edited in February of this year, launched and published this year, promoted by Henry Chesbrough, edited by Agnieszka Radziwon, Bin Van Haverbeke, and Joel West. We are reviewing every week each of the 57 chapters with all the authors that are writing each of the sections. And well, this week we are welcoming Marion Poetz. Welcome, Marion. How are you today?
Thank you, Marisol, for inviting me to this wonderful Open Innovation Thursday series. I'm good today, and I look forward to our conversation.
Me too. This is amazing, and we are very happy. You know, one of the characteristics about this book is that we have people from all sectors, all backgrounds, and all countries. So I always like to ask people, where are you connecting from? Where are you from? Tell us about your location.
So at the moment, I'm in Vienna, and it's super hot here. We discussed this already. But I'm usually in Copenhagen. I'm at Copenhagen Business School. So I'm one of these academics that travels a lot and mostly between Copenhagen and Vienna.
Oh, wow. Beautiful. Both cities are amazing.
Indeed.
So, well, we always also like to get to know the people behind the chapters. So can you share us to everyone, what do you do? What's your research? A little bit about you, please.
Thank you. So I'm a professor of innovation management at the Department of Strategy and Innovation at Copenhagen Business School. And my research very much revolves around strategy, management, and organization of open and collaborative knowledge production processes in science and innovation. And I'm really interested in understanding inter and transdisciplinary knowledge flows and collaborations in scientific research, in science-based innovation. So how scientists and companies and crowds and other society stakeholders can interact in order to create scientific research and science-based innovation that is both scientifically impactful but also societally impactful. And I'm also interested in better understanding the boundary conditions. So which factors on the individual level, on the organization level, on the technological level, for example, with the rise of artificial intelligence, affect whether or not collaborative science and innovation processes materialize in impactful research and innovation.
Wow, so many things about your research and interest ring a bell for me. I wish we can keep talking for many hours. But well, let's begin first with this topic that we have today, no? So we are in the section number 5 of the book. The section is called Implications for Public Policy. We began talking about smart cities with Esteve Almiral, and then open innovation in regional innovation clusters with Agnieszka Radziwon, and then dimensions of openness with Marcus Perkman. And today we are talking about open innovation in science, chapter number 27 of our handbook. And this chapter is co-authored by you, together with Susan Beck, Christoph Grimpe, and Henry Sauerman. No? So can you please share with us what's the story? How did you came up with this chapter? And what's the story behind your participation here?
So I think what is really important to say here is that this co-authored chapter with Susanne and with Christoph and with Henry is not only a book chapter. So this has been a journey where the 4 of us and many others have been collaborating over the past almost 8 years where we embarked on a journey to better understand the role and value of openness and collaboration in scientific research. We all know the open science movement, and that's super important, but we really felt that it's not taking it far enough. We wanted to better understand how scientific research institutions can purposefully manage knowledge flows and collaborations across boundaries. And we wanted to think about how can we bring the knowledge from kind of innovation management, from strategizing innovation, from open innovation to the world of science. And we have built up an entire research group, also thanks to great funding we received from the Austrian National Foundation for Research and Technology. To build up a group, to build up a network. We host an annual conference around that, where with lots of colleagues from various fields of research, including the social sciences, the natural sciences, the humanities, we try to understand open innovation science. So this book chapter really is a collaborative effort that is not just a couple of pages, but it's an entire initiative that we've been building, and where we're really happy that many people in different communities have joined in.
Wow. And so all four of you have been collaborating for a long time. Can you tell us a little bit about the other authors, or maybe just talk about their backgrounds?
So Susanne Beck is an assistant professor at Warwick Business School at the Information Systems Management Group. Christoph Grimpe is a professor and colleague at Copenhagen Business School, and Henry Sauermann is a professor at ESMT Berlin. And all of us, we share this interest in the context of science and management and economics of science, but also we have also one leg in the management of innovation in a business context.
I like this a lot because it's like meta-open innovation, no? An open innovation initiative to talk about open innovation and open science. Well, this is perfect. So let's dig in. What's this chapter about?
So in this book chapter, we, as I mentioned before, we present open innovation science. And you may think, well, yet another name. We have open science, we have responsible research and innovation, we have citizen science, we have whatever. But the idea here really was to integrate knowledge from all these fields and to think about how purposefully managed knowledge flows in scientific research can help us improve the productivity, the scientific, the societal impact of research. And this book chapter talks about how different kinds of inbound, outbound, and coupled knowledge flows can help us improve the entire research process, from generating research questions to designing research methods and materials, collecting data, analyzing data, disseminating our research in publications and in other forms, and eventually translating scientific research into innovation. And in the chapter, we also talk about, we call it kind of science and open science and open innovations, conceptual sisters in different contexts. We talk about how the dynamics that we know from open innovation can apply to the science context, and where do we have differences. For example, difference in the goals and the motivations, what motivates scientists versus what motivates innovators in a business context. But also, what can we learn from these two contexts, or what they can learn from each other in terms of this purposeful management of knowledge flows, and not just unidirectional sharing. The open science movement still, has evolved, but still talks a lot about sharing data, sharing materials, but not how the science context, the scientists themselves can learn from the outside world and use knowledge from companies, from citizens, from crowds, from all kinds of NGOs, stakeholder groups, advocacy groups, and how that can be translated into more impactful research. We also give two concrete examples in the book, so how open innovation science practices can look like. And one of these examples relates to crowd science, so how scientific research can benefit from engaging with crowds. And the other example relates to open forms of university-industry collaboration. So there's other fantastic work in this book on university-industry collaboration, but we particularly look into what happens when, for example, in this case, when basic researchers engage with industry, not to generate industry applications, but to generate novel, high-risk, high-gain research. And then we talk about how these examples can help us think about future research on the role and value of openness and collaboration in science, and how this all is reshaped by the rise of artificial intelligence.
Wow. So many questions and so many follow-up ideas, but maybe what strikes me most important question to ask you is, because I've been discussing this with a team very recently, and we were somehow asking ourselves, in the definition of open innovation, there's this also value creation, pecuniary and non-pecuniary, and in the areas of open science, maybe there's this variable about the speed of the value that you are creating, the distance to real implementation. I don't know if this creates a bias in the way we are managing open science and considering it open innovation. I don't know, and the players involved in this, no? Because if we are involving, as you were saying before, all kinds of players, maybe this is also a dynamic to bring in the value and distribute it. So are there any insights related to that, or what's your vision about the value of open science?
I think that's a very interesting question, because and again, open science has evolved, and there's a lot of new conceptualizations that also include firm collaborations and citizen science. But generally, when we talk about open science, it's very much related to everything needs to be open. Whatever you produce needs to be open. And I think this is where the open innovation, the idea of open innovation and the principles and methods behind this can help us to think about what are the boundary conditions here, of openness. Do I need to share everything that I do? Or are there also collaboration processes in scientific research that need to be governed by different kinds of mechanisms, and maybe even a pecuniary exchange processes? And of course, that is different in different contexts. So when we talk about crowd science and typical crowd science platforms where people do image classifications and by that help to advance whatever neuroscience or diverse biodiversity research, that has different types of dynamics as compared to, for example, when scientists reuse resources, whatever that is, a particular type of highly expensive equipment that companies have, or whatever compounds, RNA structures. So there are different dynamics in different types of collaboration processes in science. And I think we need to understand that, like in open innovation, not everything may need to have the same level of full openness of everything. There are degrees and shades, and that's also why we really push for better understanding the boundary conditions, also of different shades and types of openness and collaboration in scientific research. So maybe not everything needs to be fully open, because eventually we know there is an enormous amount of data that is available in open data repositories, and then also only a very tiny fraction of that is reused to create impact. So we need to think about the workflows. What are the workflows that make people reuse existing knowledge, existing data? What are the mechanisms that make people collaborate with each other, particularly against the backdrop of different types of incentives and career systems in scientific research? And we need to acknowledge that, and it very likely won't change in the short run. We are measured against the backdrop of publishing high impact papers in high impact journals. So we also need to discuss, how do open and collaborative mechanisms help scientists to produce research that can be published in these top journals? Not only think about the societal goals, but also think about what are the incentives of scientists to engage in this, because else it's an ideological thing and not an impact strategy in a sense.
So interesting. There are many good topics to discuss here. So, well, open science, I think, is so relevant. And as you were saying, these dynamics to create collaborations among each other. Any final thought, anything that you want people to, if they have one idea to take with them, what would be for you the main conclusion?
Now, this is hard to reduce it to one idea, Marisol. But I think what I find particularly interesting here is to think about field-specific differences. So to understand that processes, dynamics in, for example, the life sciences might be different than those in the humanities or those in the social sciences. Because that's a very interesting observation here. In our work on open innovation science, we study a lot of cases from the medical sciences, the life sciences, the engineering sciences, but very few cases from the social sciences, and even fewer cases within the field of management and innovation and strategy. For example, I only know about one concrete crowd science project in our field, only one. Yeah. So why is it that we as innovation scholars, as management scholars, why are we not embracing these things more? Maybe there is a reason for this. Maybe it's just hidden. So I think it's interesting to talk about and think about the field-specific differences of openness and collaboration in science.
Wow. This is very interesting. This is a powerful call to action as well, no? Just to look at ourselves and open for all these possibilities. Any other call to action? Any one final word you want to add? Advice?
If you allow me, Marisol, I would really like to invite everyone who joins this session today to join our Open Innovation Science research community. We do have an annual conference, and many of you may already know. Next year in 2025, we will hold it in Vienna, beautiful Vienna. So we have a different city every year. In May in Vienna. Anyone who is interested in joining this discussion and this community, of course, feel free to reach out to me or my co-authors or join us in Vienna. There's a conference website, ois-research-conference.org. Just reach out and yeah, engage in the discussion.
Perfect. We will share these links in the comments also for everyone to have it. And of course, we invite everyone to read the chapter, get into details, open and connect. No need to share everything, but create purposefully driven connections among each other. No, this is the thing. Marion, it's such a delight to talk to you. I'm so happy to have had this conversation with you, and I hope to meet in person at some point.
Thank you, Marisol. It was great fun talking to you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. See you, everyone. See you next week in our chapter of Open Innovation Thursdays.